So let us continue our discussion on previous year question. So here I'll see the question and then we can look at what would be the answer. Okay. So the question is, does the structural functionalist perspective on social stratification promote a status quo? Give reason for your answer. So it's a very easy question. It's asked in 2025. It's a recent one. Last year it has been asked. So anyway, we know this is the most important question. So what's the demand of the examiner here? You have to discuss what is structural functionalism and its view on stratification, right? So then you will tell whether it promotes status quo or not, and then you have to give supporting reasons for your answer, and then you have to give the major criticisms also, and then you need to conclude it with a balanced view. So how will you introduce? You'll talk about Davis and Moore, and then you'll talk about maintaining social equilibrium, right? Stability and all, where their approach, that's what structural functionalism is all about. So how will you write that? So you can see I've not given it here, so I can tell you that. See, the structural functionalism views society as an integrated system where institutions together work to maintain the order, stability, and equilibrium, right? So there is a system, the equilibrium of the system is maintained, and that's exactly what you see in the Parsonian work also. Similar thing that you can just mention. Since they have asked about does a structural functionalist perspective on social stratification promote status quo? So it's about the perspective. So I have to talk about that more than the theory of stratification itself. Okay, so here many students are actually getting confused and they keep explaining the theory. Here, more focus you need to give in terms of this approach. Okay, then we can briefly mention it's not that they're asking Davis and Moore theory or those propositions and all. You just need to tell that the major elements, right? It's functional. They are trying to justify, the necessity of structural function, the stratification. That is enough because that's the approach is all about. Okay, then you can say according to Davis and Moore, you mentioned the year and mentioned the book name also. Social stratification is universal and it's a functional necessity, right? Because unequal rewards motivate talented individual to occupy the most functionally important position. If you want, you can elaborate it further, but I think this is a 10 marker. Do you think you have enough scope for that? You cannot write all those propositions. The society is made up of positions. Some are more important than others. More important positions need to be filled with talented people. To get the talented people, you have to give more rewards, and that is stratification. Then Melvin, you don't have time and space for all those. You have to mention about the perspective. So you will mention that society or the setup is seen as an integrated system where different institutions are there that work together for maintaining the stability, equilibrium, etc. And then you discuss this approach and see how it is making it functional, right? So it is necessary. It's a functional necessity, that differential distribution of rewards, so that the most important positions are filled with the most talented people. That means to a larger extent, the structural functionalist perspective, they tend to promote status quo, right? What is there, that is something which they are actually justifying. But still, see, it also explained the integrative role of stratification as well. So that is something which we need to mention here. So you can see how we proceed with it. So how structural functionalism promotes status quo, and then you discuss the other side argument, and then we'll go with a balanced conclusion. So I've given this. We have already there in the notes. We discussed all these. So what they're doing, they basically make social hierarchy as normal, naturalizes social hierarchy, right? So Davis and Moore argue that inequality is functionally necessary and hierarchies appear natural and inevitable rather than socially created. And in fact, earlier thinkers like Aristotle, Plato, they were also, in fact, talking about inequalities are natural, permanent, inevitable. So that is the line that we are taking here, but we are definitely clear that it is social, but that line we are actually taking. For example, high salaries of CEOs are justified as it is necessary to attract the talent for that particular post. Then you talk about this meritocratic assumption. It assumes that equal opportunity for all and basically ignore the inherited inequalities like class, caste, gender, cultural capital, etc. That means the privilege appears as basically merit. You can talk about Pierre Bourdieu here. Cultural capital reproduces inequality across generation. Previous question also we discussed the same. See, this guy is very important. Social capital, cultural capital, etc. In multiple areas, you'll be able to use the same statement, same concept. Okay. In separately, they can ask you question also, but otherwise also you can ask this in multiple areas. It justifies unequal rewards. High income and prestige are treated as incentive for important roles, and it basically overlook equally essential but poorly rewarded occupations as well. For example, ASHA workers, nurses, school teachers. Then you talk about this prioritizes stability over change. Conflict is viewed as dysfunctional. Reform movements are seen as disruptions rather than engines of progress. That means existing institutions basically receive that legitimacy and it promotes status quo. Then teleological explanation. This is how we criticize Parson taught illegitimate teleology, illegitimate tautology. So that basically explaining inequality because it performs a function, right? So the cause is explained in terms of function. That's what teleology. And even Durkheim also faced the problem. Now, rarely asked whether more equal arrangements could perform the same function. That is what Merton is talking about, if you remember, functional alternatives and all. Right. So basically, this discouraged questioning existing structure. That means status quo. Now, criticisms. Melvin Tumin, we know that there is no point in me discussing this again. Functional importance cannot be objectively measured. Talent test is no such unique test, right? And excessive inequality basically wastes talent, reduce motivation among disadvantaged group, how to judge relative importance of a position, restrict equality of opportunity, create distrust and imbalances in society. Then Marxian critique, stratification serves the interest of the ruling class. Inequality is actually maintained through exploitation rather than functional necessity. Then the Weberian critique, stratification is based not only on class but also the other dimensions you need to mention. So these are very easy. Melvin Tumin, Max Weber, and Karl Marx. These are there in your syllabus itself. You can straight away write. And then, of course, you will never forget this guy, Bourdieu critique, culture and social capital produce privilege. Then feminist critique. Anything you write, you talk about feminist criticism also, right? Functionalism legitimizes gender division of labor and treat unpaid domestic work as natural. Sylvia Valby, you can write. Anne Oakley, you can write. Patriarchy is structural source of inequality. Now, finally, you will also have to talk about why structural functionalism still matters. So, despite all this criticism, they talk about social integration, they talk about role allocation, motivation through incentives, and institutional stability, value consensus. That means it basically highlight why every society develop some form of stratification. The fact that every society is based on some form of stratification itself tell that importance of stratification as it is inevitable and it is a necessity. Now, contemporary example, elite educational institution favor students with greater cultural capital. Corporate salary disparities justified through the market value. Reservation debates challenges the assumption of equal opportunity. Gig workers perform essential function despite low rewards. So how will you conclude now? We need a balanced conclusion. So we'll say structural functionalism successfully explained the integrative and motivational functions of social stratification. Yes, this integrates society, this give individual the required modification, but by portraying the inequality as something which is natural, necessary, and merit-based, it basically tend to legitimize the existing social order. And you can talk about criticisms in one line. Critics like Melvin Tumin, Marx, Weber, Bourdieu, and feminists basically demonstrate that the stratification is also shaped by power, conflict, inherited privileges, and social closure and other things, right? So that basically makes it a historically constructed and kind of reformable social institution rather than an unquestionable necessity. So that is how you can conclude this answer. I hope this is very clear. I see you in the next video. If you're looking for any classes or mentorship, get in touch with our team. I see you there. Thank you.